Welcome to the CXR channel, our premier podcast for talent acquisition and talent management. Listen in as the CXR community discusses a wide range of topics focused on attracting, engaging, and retaining the best talent. We're glad you're here.
Hello, listeners. I'm Chris Hoyt, president of CXR, and you're thriving yet casually dressed nomad in the landscape of today's podcast adventure. Now, as I travel across the country to Austin, Texas, with most of my worldly possessions barreling down the highway somewhere in the U.S. in a moving truck that nobody can seem to locate, but is hopefully arriving here soon, we're hunkering down in this segment we call an eXpertease, where we talk shop with an industry leader who's got one lesson they've learned, one insight they've gleaned, one gotcha that they're interested in making sure that you're aware of. Now, we do this almost weekly. We spend just 15 minutes with a guest that's generous enough to share live with you on this podcast and videocast that's watchable almost anywhere you subscribe to any of your other favorite shows. If you're not already subscribed to this fantastical journey, I'd encourage you to get over to cxr.org/podcast to use some of those fancy subscription buttons and hitch a ride and get on board. Now, if you've dialed in to join us live, then you can drop any questions you may have for our guest in the chat. We'll do our best to get to it, but if we run out of time, don't worry. We'll post it for you over in the free and public Career Crossroads Recruiting Community Forums. They're hosted at cxr.org/talent talks. Now, today, we're talking with longtime Career Crossroads friend, relatively new president of ATAP, that's the Association for Talent Acquisition Professionals, and who I think is an industry powerhouse doer, Cathy Henesey. Cathy, welcome to the show. How are you?
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here.
Now, Cathy, before we start, can you share with us a little bit about where you work and what you do there exactly?
Sure. So I work for Advent Health. We are a large health care system, primarily in the Southeast. We have across 9 states, and we have a little bit over 50 hospitals and counting, and hundreds of clinics across those states. My team's responsible for hiring about 25,000 people in a normal year. We're on track for 30,000 this year. So we do all the hiring up to the VP level, and we do not do the physician. So anything in between. So primarily 35% of our hires are nurses. I just hit 10,000 openings today, which is crazy. We have over 3,000 nurse openings right now that my team works on. So my team's about 225 individuals, plus some contractors to help out along the way.
Wow, that's incredible. That's incredible. Like, those are some numbers.
Yeah. People say, what keeps you up at night? I go, 10,000 recs. That's pretty much it.
all of it keeps me up at night.
Yeah.
So we jumped on the line today to talk about building a brand, a personal TA brand. When we say that, Cathy, what does that mean to you?
So the personal brand, to me, really, I feel like it is a part of anybody's talent acquisition profession. To me, it should be in your job description, because that is what you're selling, right? Everything that I have learned along the way comes with me, right? I'm not a product. I am a person. And what I have learned along the way is my brand. And so I feel like that I've spent a lot of time, we can talk about that networking to build that brand. And then, of course, whoever I work for or whatever association I belong to, we all benefit from that. And I feel like as a profession, if we all acted that way, then we would really elevate ourselves into that profession that we so want to be at that strategic level.
Yeah. Is there a difference between your brand and your reputation?
That's a good question. I do think there is a difference. A reputation is really about, what you do and your follow through and, are you saying who you are, I guess. But that personal brand is really about what you contribute to the profession, and where are you taking that? How are you sharing that? How are you making that profession better through your personal brand? So I do see it as a difference. I hadn't thought about that.
Yeah. Well, I do think it's a subtle difference. I for sure agree with you. If you've got a tip to give to somebody who's sort of maybe, and it would be fun for us to do 2 of these, right? This is a little show that is not rehearsed, right? But if we've got both sides of the coin here, so you've got somebody that's starting out, they're relatively young in their recruiting career. What would be one thing you tell them that they should really focus on to sort of invest in that TA brand?
I think it's getting out there and networking outside of work. I really learned early in my career to network with other like individuals that do the job that I do at other organizations, because you can really get well networked within your own organization, but to go out and learn how others do that. I know, like, I particularly joined healthcare, not that long ago, maybe 9 years ago, and I knew nothing about healthcare recruitment. And so that's the first thing I did, was started contacting my peers at other organizations. So I would do that as a person young in my career, to go learn how other people do things. And that just speeds it up,
Yeah. Oh, for sure. And not an easy thing to necessarily do today. But so when I introduced you, and I'm a huge fan, I called you sort of a powerhouse doer. And I think that is part of your professional TA brand. Like you literally have taken on some Herculean projects and just crushed. And you seem to always be moving. You seem to always be leaning in and taking things on. Stepping into the president role at ATAP, some of the really interesting work that you have done in the healthcare and recruitment space. So if we flip that from the early stage recruiting, right, the younger stage of recruiting, to where you are today, how do you continue to sort of feed that brand? How do you continue to sort of evolve that brand today? Because you've been doing this a little while.
Sure. I think I just continue. There's so many new things going on and innovative tools out there that honestly, I feel like I'm never going to catch up learning everything out there that's going on and what my peers are doing with artificial intelligence and assessments and, just that speed to market for candidate processing. I just feel like I'm running a rat race trying to learn everything and sourcing, all the different sourcing techniques. I feel like I'm just constantly learning and trying to keep up. So we're, keeping up as an organization for who I work for, as well as the association. And you say, oh, it's harder today. I'm not sure it's harder today. Back in the old days, we didn't have the internet. And I'm that person that says that. I would never say that. But I had a phone call, I had to pick up the phone and figure out who the recruiter leader was at another company and go out and meet them for lunch or coffee or drinks. And, it's so much easier today to cultivate networks through forums,
Yeah, well, I think it's a big thing too. And I guess your involvement with ATAP is sort of a testimony to that, or a testament to that, and that is an amazing resource to be able to get a network, and not to do any self-promotion, but I mean, that is a big part of what Career Crossroads tries to do, is to accomplish that. So I think what I hear you saying is it is all about networking, but there are also resources others should, not just ATAP, not just CXR, but the resources that aspiring recruiters or TA professionals should lean into.
Right. And we should, we really could get to the same level of the larger associations, whether it's, CPA for accountants or the bar for attorneys or SHRM for HR. There is no reason that we shouldn't be at those size level organizations and be sharing all that content together. Right. We're always creating similar things, whether it's comp calculators or job descriptions or, SOPs or SLAs. I mean, we should be sharing all of that and, developing some best standards and practices for those.
Yeah, I think working together is a big piece of that. I will tell you, and I think you suffer from it too, I have an ongoing affliction of FOMO. I seem to always have some fear of missing out of some news.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Is that what keeps us as healthy networkers, Cathy?
Yes, absolutely. And it's fun, right, too? It's just that thirst for knowledge. Jerry always says he's a lifelong student. Well, I totally buy into that. That's fun. It's fun for me. I love learning what other people are doing and what they've done to advance their own careers. And, sometimes people in healthcare, they think, oh, this is all there is. I'm like, oh my gosh, there's a whole other world of, 100 different industries doing TA differently, right? And how can we learn from them?
Yeah, I think too, and you and I've had this talk before, but I think the really big benefit of being part of an organization, any real organization for your own development, right, your own interests, is figuring out you are not as far behind as you thought you were, and you are not as far ahead as you thought you were. And that's
true. Right. And sometimes you just need to commiserate with somebody, right? And that is experiencing the same thing that you're experiencing, and you're not alone, and you just need somebody to have a conversation with. And those are phone calls away if you have a great network.
It is. It's awesome. Cathy, thank you so much for your time. The quick blip this morning so we can get connected and kind of catch up. I really, really appreciate it. We're really grateful.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Look, experts are predicting a wave of attrition as we come out of this pandemic. So while there will likely be a variety of causes for people looking to move on, we're betting that mental health, burnout, and an assortment of priorities are going to be top of the list. So our next guest has recently made the decision to make a move, change jobs in a big way, and his reasons are likely to resonate with many. Join us in our next session with Grant Clough, former KPMG and AARP leader, as he shares where he's at and provides some guidance on how to help retain valuable employees who are demanding balance, boundaries, and a new level of support from employers that many may not be ready to give. So dust off your favorite pair of traveling pants and tune into the show and hear what he's got to say and find out if my stuff ever shows up here in Austin or if I'm destined to buy a new wardrobe or just work in the same t-shirt and ball cap through the end of the year. Until then, we hope you'll check out the amazing updates taking place just this last week in the various communities found at CXR.works, free and open community groups, members-only community groups. We've got private invitation and networking community groups, all added with thousands, literally thousands of people collaborating and sharing with one another to help solve big talent challenges. Give it a look, CXR.works. Happy travels, everyone.
Thanks for listening to the CXR channel. Please subscribe to CXR on your favorite podcast resource and leave us a review while you're at it. Learn more about CXR at our website, cxr.works, facebook.com and twitter.com/careercrossroads, and on Instagram at careerxroads. We'll catch you next time.